I knew this was something I wanted to do, like in addition to going to school. I just looked at tons of different ones, and it was like a couple months process before I narrowed it down to here. I wanted to be able to do like the full process of like making a site or making an app, and I felt like this one was the best for that, like because I knew a little bit of code. I was like doing YouTube videos and stuff, and then I didn't know how to actually make anything with it, so I wanted to come out of it where I could like build from the back end to the front end and be able to put something out and use it. So I actually started it back in junior high. I had a class and I loved it. But back then we did like those career fair things where you had to like investigate a career, and I looked into it, and back then you made like $30,000 a year to be a programmer. I was like, nope, not going to school for that. So I started doing sales and made a lot, and then the whole time I was just like, man, I hate this. I really like coding, and I kind of did it on the side forever, and then I finally just got tired of sales and came over to this. So I was considering a lot of options. I'd started doing some training on my own, like YouTube videos, Udemy courses, Coursera or Coursera, whatever it is. I started back at school. I was going to college and taking courses there, and I just wasn't really happy with the progress, and I felt like on my own I got stuck. I was like, I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what the next step is. And so I looked into code schools and found Bottega after or the way I narrowed it down to Bottega was with the stack that they used. I felt like it was the most comprehensive, and it was like the most up to date with what employers were looking for. I checked a lot of jobs, and like what they were looking for lined up really well with what Bottega had. And it also was just a ton of stuff that I'm like, I have no idea what that is. I don't know how to do it, but I want to learn. So that helped a lot. It challenged me a lot. It wasn't like, here's how to do this thing, now you go do it. A lot of the stuff was figure it out, try and do this thing without us teaching you, and then we'll teach you later. And then there was a lot of parts where they just don't help. Like the instructors, I mean, they're pretty hands-on, they'll help you to a point, but they also are like, figure it out. You're gonna have to do that in the job, you're gonna have to do that in life, and so like look at the error and figure it out, or Google it, or check the docs. And so that was really helpful, which, I mean, it's how it's gonna be in a job. There's a lot of stuff you're not gonna know how to do, and you gotta figure out how to do it. I don't know, I really like dealing with like the logic and making my site do something cool, and I wanted to build something that like could handle data and could handle, you know, APIs and databases, and like just get you useful information, or to like make some aspect of your life easier. And so like I'm really interested in like automation and like back end and just anything that involves logic and making my life easier. My ability to like solve a problem, it kind of surprised me. Like I always felt like I was pretty smart and I was pretty good at it, but some of the problems you get here are just crazy. And so for me, like I was surprised at how much I could figure out and how much I could solve. Where I'd get to some issue and it's this huge issue, and you could break it down into these little pieces, and all of a sudden it's manageable, and you end up solving the problem at the end. And that's like super cool feeling. That's like, if you're gonna code, like that is the thing that keeps you going, is every time you solve a problem, you get that like, yes. Yeah, that was pretty fun. I feel like I learned a ton. Like it was totally worth it. I came out way better at the end. There's a lot of options for like code schools and college and online stuff, but I feel like coming here, they had it structured in a way that like I didn't know the next steps when I was doing it on my own, and this was just like walk you right through the whole step of making a complete app and taking you from knowing nothing to knowing everything. And at the end, amazing, like I can make this cool thing. Like you don't feel like you can make anything, and then you get to that capstone and you're like, I did that. It was pretty cool. So I started college before I came here for computer science, and legitimately learned more in the first week and a half of going to Bottega than I did in 3 semesters in college. So it's a lot of information. It's kind of tough to follow, but it's way more information, and it's way more useful information. The other part with college that's been frustrating is that I know I'm learning technologies that nobody uses. It's really outdated, and it's just like a process that nobody follows anymore, and I have to take Bottega stuff and like, okay, this is how we're really going to do it. This is what companies actually use, and like transfer that to the college stuff where they're not really teaching us that there. Yeah, so our capstone project is, it's just a big project that we do at the very end of class. So it's like our last 2 weeks of class. You're on your own, and you have to build front end, back end of just this full application on your own using everything that we learned in the class, plus something that we didn't learn here in the course. And then the instructors are not allowed to help you unless it's something crazy. But yeah, as you're going through the course, it is a ton of information. It's super fast. You feel like there's no way I'm going to remember all this stuff. And then at the end, when you go build this project, it's amazing how much of it just comes to you. You're like, okay, now I need to do this, and you do it. Now I need to do this, and you know how to do it. And in the end, you made this cool thing and didn't really have the assistance